I practiced medicine for 53 years. During that time, I witnessed the deaths of hundreds of my patients. I signed their death certificates. I held their hands in their final hours. I delivered the bad news to their families. And now I'm going to tell you a truth that most of those people had in common. Most of them did not have to die at the age they did. Not because of genetics, not because of fate, but because of choices. The patterns I noticed. I first began to notice these patterns in 1972. For years I warned my patients. Most didn't listen. Today, most of them are no longer alive. I am 102 years old. I'm not saying this to earn sympathy nor to impress you. I want you to understand something. Throughout my life, I have been present at the bedside of more dying people than most living humans will ever encounter. And I know, with great clarity, the difference between those who reached their 90s and those who suddenly passed at 68. Right now, today, this very morning, you are probably making at least 2 of those mistakes, and you don't even realize they are stealing years from your life. Mistake number 1, sitting too long. The first thing I learned in 53 years of practice: prolonged sitting kills you faster than you think. I'm not exaggerating. In 1981, I began keeping separate notes on my desk-bound patients, accountants, secretaries, clerks. They were aging differently. Heart problems were starting earlier. By 1990, it was clear. Someone sitting 8 to 9 hours a day was aging internally about 40% faster than someone who moved throughout the day. Scientific journals wrote about this years later. I saw it in my patients' bodies first. Here is what happens. You sit. Circulation slows. Blood pools in the legs. The lymphatic system, which depends on movement, stalls. Toxins accumulate. Muscles begin to weaken. After age 60, this process accelerates because the body's capacity to recover diminishes. I had a patient, a retired judge. He walked every morning and thought that was enough, but he spent the remaining 10 hours of his day sitting in front of the television. He suffered a stroke at 71, and we lost him. Morning exercise did not compensate for afternoon immobility. The solution is simple. Get up every hour, walk from one room to another, use your legs. I have been doing this since 1974. I am 102, and I still do it. Mistake number 2, not sleeping enough or sleeping poorly. How many of my patients told me, I sleep 5 hours, that's enough for me? The brain needs 7 to 9 hours of sleep to repair itself. During deep sleep, the brain clears metabolic waste. Proteins linked to cognitive decline are removed during this phase. When you consistently sleep too little, those waste products accumulate night after night. In my patients who slept poorly, memory problems appeared approximately 10 years earlier than in those who slept well. And here is an important point. Fragmented sleep is worse than short sleep. Waking up 4 or 5 times a night prevents the brain from entering deep sleep. Most patients didn't even realize they were waking up. If you spend 8 hours in bed and still feel exhausted, something is wrong. Mistake number 3, loneliness. After 60. Loneliness is one of the greatest health risks after age 60, and most people don't take it seriously enough. Cortisol rises, immunity drops, inflammation increases. This may sound like an emotional issue, but it is not. Loneliness triggers a chronic stress response in the body. My patients who lived alone without meaningful relationships deteriorated far faster than patients with serious chronic illness who had strong social support. In Turkey, loss of a spouse after 60, the shrinking of one's social circle, and retirement cutting off daily human contact. These are extremely common. You must actively fight this. Join a club or association. Visit a neighbor. Call your grandchildren. Don't go weeks without a real conversation. Human beings were not designed to live in isolation. Mistake number 4, outdated nutrition advice. Over 40 years of practice, some of the dietary advice being given was simply wrong. Eat low fat. Eat unlimited whole grains. The result? An entire generation ate white bread, jam, and cereal every morning, and was then shocked when their blood sugar deteriorated. After age 60, insulin sensitivity decreases. carbohydrate tolerance drops, inflammation rises. When I reduced processed carbohydrates, increased healthy fats, and focused on vegetables and quality protein, my inflammatory markers dropped within 3 months. The patients who listened saw real benefit. Most didn't listen. Mistake number 5, chronic low-level anxiety. Constant worry is a silent enemy. It doesn't look like illness, it looks like a personality trait. But persistent low-level anxiety keeps stress hormones permanently elevated, and that wears down every system in the body. I had retired patients with no financial troubles who spent their entire days thinking, what if something goes wrong? They aged faster, they slept worse, their immune systems weakened. Learning to release what you cannot control is not a psychological luxury. It is a survival strategy. My wife passed away 8 years ago. We were married for 61 years. She followed none of these principles. Her knees hurt, so she sat constantly. She didn't take her sleep problems seriously. She continued eating the bread-heavy, low-fat diet her mother had taught her. She worried every day about our children and grandchildren. She passed away at 94. You might say 94 is a good age. But I watched her spend her final 15 years in slow decline, losing her mobility, her mental sharpness, her independence. Those years were not a gift. They were a slow diminishment. She could have lived another decade of real life. She chose not to change. My life at 102. I am 102 years old. I live alone. I cook my own meals. I walk every day. I read. I call my grandchildren. I sleep 7.5 hours every night. I am not special. I am not lucky. I made choices. And right now you are making choices too. Today, this hour, this minute. A final word. I have watched people leave this world for 53 years, and I know most of them did not have to go when they did. I shared so much with you today. Perhaps one reason I reached this age is simply that my time had not yet come. But I believe that God, who created this world for us, would want his people to live in it in the best way possible. The Quran begins with the word, read. I read. I tried to do what was right. At the end of the day, every soul is accountable for its own choices. That is why advice should be heeded, especially from those who have lived long enough to see the consequences. Everything is actually quite simple. What you are told not to do, don't do. What you are told to do it properly. I am not a perfect man. I have made my own mistakes and missteps. But that is not the subject here. What matters is that I am sharing these lessons with you as an elder who has learned from them. Perhaps I don't have much time left. For 50 years I tried to be of service to humanity. At least, that is what I believe. Perhaps this video will allow me to reach even more people. I hope everyone lives a healthy, peaceful, joyful life. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I will read the comments. And thank you for giving me a place in your videos. It was good to speak. Take care of yourselves. Stay well, and stay with love, all of you, for this fleeting world. Don't let anything burden you.